Hello, everyone. Lauren Pibworth here, speaker marketing strategist and founder of Pibworth PS. Today, I am joined by someone who knows exactly how to help speakers grow their audience and get booked on bigger stages, Carl Richards. Now, Carl isn't just a brilliant podcast strategist. He lives and breathes the art of using podcasts to build relationships, grow authority, and open doors to new speaking opportunities. And in my work with professional speakers, I've seen firsthand how podcasting can do three powerful things. It can get you in front of decision makers you'd never otherwise reach. It can position you as the go-to expert in your space, and it can create long-lasting visibility because unlike a here today, gone tomorrow social post, a podcast interview lives on for years, quietly introducing you to new audiences. And I've experienced that myself. I still get calls from podcasts that I did 3, 4, 5 years ago say, "Oh, I saw you on that." I'm like, I don't even remember doing that, but it's amazing. So that's why I believe that podcasting should be a part of every speaker's marketing ecosystem. And today, Carl's going to walk us through how to make that happen. Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you, Lauren. I am honored to be here. Thanks for having me jump in and join you today.
Fantastic. So, Carl, from your perspective, what makes podcasting such a powerful tool for speakers to land more paid gigs? Podcasting's free. How do we land paid gigs from podcasting?
I'm glad you asked that question. How much time do we have? How many hours can I talk about this? But no, seriously, I want you to think of podcasting as a stage unto itself. And I think that's one of the things that speakers sometimes forget is we want to be on the physical stage. Hey, I'm a speaker. I love being on physical stages. I totally love it. What happens if, for example, what happened in 2020, where those physical stages don't exist? You still want to be in front of your audience. You still want to be having impact. That's exactly where a podcast comes in, where you can still have that impact when you can't be on a physical stage. And that can actually lead to you getting on the stage. Because here's the thing. When your content is positioned correctly, whether you're a guest or whether you're a host, it will open doors. People will hear you or see you on a podcast and go, I need that person on my stage, or I need that person to speak at my next event. And that doesn't happen by chance. That happens because that we with intention say, I'm going to take this podcasting thing and take it seriously, not that everything has to be serious. We can still add humor to it, but really take it seriously and add it to my marketing. Everything we do to get on physical stages, Lauren, it's about marketing. It's about putting yourself out there through speaker bureaus or asking who do you know who has a stage that I can speak on. It's the same with a podcast, and that will open doors. Will it open doors to free stages? Absolutely. But will it open doors to paid gigs? Yes, of course, because when people see that you are the expert, you are without any doubt the person who is an authority in a specific area. They'll say, oh my goodness, this is the person I've been waiting for. And with the event that I'm hosting, the summit that I'm facilitating, we need to have this person on the stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that's great. The what? Let's talk about the how. How do
Mm-hmm.
we find the right shows? So a lot of speakers wonder where to start. What's the best way to identify the podcasts that have the right audience and the ones that could actually lead to a speaking opportunity, right? I
Absolutely.
get requests by all kinds of people. I don't accept them all.
Yeah. Put all of your money in an envelope, send it to me, and I can help you get on the right stages. But in all seriousness, I think it starts with firstly identifying who is it that you want to speak in front of. And this is one of the challenges that I find speakers or coaches or consultants have. They say they want to speak or they say they want to be on podcasts, and that's it. They don't really identify, okay, I want to speak at these kinds of events, or I want to be on podcasts that are specifically suited for sales, marketing, tech, women in business, whatever it is. And by the way, there are podcasts for absolutely any single topic you could possibly think of. And if it doesn't exist, guess what? You'll be a trailblazer in an established format or in an established medium that is growing exponentially. So really ask yourself, what are the shows that are going to move the needle for me so that I can, get on those stages that I want to be on? So for example, me as a podcaster, I want to be on podcasts that are speaking to folks about marketing, of speaking to folks who are speakers who want to get on podcasts. I mean, my podcast itself is about podcasting, but the people I want to get in front of are speakers. They're coaches, they're consultants, they're experts in a specific field, because those are the individuals that want to be on podcasts, all right? Or that need to be either be on podcasts or start a podcast. But identifying what are the types of shows or what are the types of stages you're already getting on. So if you're, for example, somebody who speaks to medical professionals, okay, well, then you want to get on podcasts that are geared towards medical professionals. Chartered accountants, if you want to speak to chartered accountants, get on podcasts that are geared towards chartered accountants, financial professionals, things like that. So you're really targeting those specific shows, and you can get really deep and really niche with that.
And chances are, if you're listening to a podcast for your business,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably a good podcast to try and get on. Is that a fair statement?
It's certainly a good place to start and generate
Yeah.
those ideas. And by the way, it doesn't happen instantaneously, especially if some of the shows you like to listen to are of a higher profile of for example, if you're listening to a Tony Robbins podcast or something like that, it might be harder to get on that show. But, okay, well, here is a life transformation guru. Who else, if I type in life transformation in a podcast, we can now do it all with AI. Isn't that cool? We can do it with AI now, but even if you go to your podcast app on your phone, be it Apple, be it Spotify, whatever it is, you type in, transformational coach or transformational whatever, you'll get a number of shows that will absolutely make you go, oh, I didn't realize there were that many shows in that particular genre that I could work at getting on. And they're very, very, as I said, with AI now, it's a little bit easier to do. There are platforms out there that make it easier to get on podcasts for sure. Podmatch, matchmaker.com. There's many different ones that can help you navigate through those murky waters of how do I find the right podcasts? It's all in a directory there for you.
Okay, so I've identified the podcast and I've actually been a guest. Once you've been a guest on a podcast, how do you turn that appearance into a real booking opportunity, not just a nice interview, great job kind of comments? How do you get past that? Oh, please don't say thanks a lot, goodbye, and you've wasted your time. What do you do now?
I think the first thing you want to do, as soon as that interview is over, before you hang up the call, thank the host. Thank you very much. It's been a blessing being on your show. Who do you know whose show I can be on? So in other words, fellow podcasters are like, I spent years in broadcasting. Fellow podcasters are like broadcasters. We don't know everybody, but we know people within the industry that we can have conversations with far and wide. Okay. So same kind of thing. Ask the host, are there any other shows that you can think of that I should be on? That's number one. Number two is, if you're a speaker, ask the host, hey, I'm a speaker, as we've talked about on this, and probably you've mentioned that in the interview that you've just had. Do you know of any stages that are looking for speakers, or do you know of any meeting planners who might be looking for a speaker that is geared to what I'm going to be speaking about? So that's number one. Number two is, are you leveraging that interview as fodder to leverage your booking? right? So are you taking that interview? Are you taking that conversation and are you sharing it through social media? Are you cutting it into clips and saying, hey, here's me on the Lauren Pibworth show talking about how to be an expert in X, Y, and Z? Are you leveraging that? Because that's what speakers, or that's what, meeting planners, that's what they want to see. They want to see how interactive are you on various platforms. And this, I think, is a great way to do that for sure. Are you putting it on your website? Do you have a media page on your website that shows
Mm-hmm.
all of the shows or all of the podcasts that you've been on? I have a media page on my website. So anything related to media, podcasts, any interviews you've done, a phenomenal way for people who are looking to book you as a speaker, can see you in action. And obviously, ideally, you've been on stage too. That's a good place to put those things as well.
And I mean, I talk about repurposing your content and don't
100%.
keep reinventing the wheel, right? That
Mm-hmm.
there's, you can get, like, I have gotten 30, 40 pieces of content from one interview.
Yep.
And it can be blogs, it can be shorts, it can be YouTube clips, it can be memes that lead back to your page. It can be social posts. 1 hour of your time can give you it feels like unlimited options to repurpose, to plan, and you always want to be driving people back to your website
Mm-hmm.
to see you, whether it is that clip or somewhere else. So I think that's really, really important.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and ultimately we want to see you on a physical stage as well. But, not everything evolves or revolves around the physical stage, like it did maybe 30 years ago, where that's really the only medium there was back then. Now it's like, no, we have other things that we can do. We can be on Blog Talk Radio. We can be on podcasts. We can be on other, we can have YouTube things that we've done, virtual summits. And then, of course, within that are the physical stages. And have we taken those clips and, as you say, repurposed them in many, many, many different ways that, again, leverages us to be seen as the experts. So without a shadow of a doubt, in the person who's booking you, they know that's the person that they want, 100%.
Exactly. And there is so many online and hybrid speaking opportunities
Oh,
too. So when you're doing a podcast and they see, okay, I've got a professional background, my voice comes through well, that kind of thing. I mean, personally, I don't care. This is just my office. But like, if you're positioning yourself to get on stages, watch things like your audio, your video, your background, all of that stuff too, because that's another thing that especially hybrid or online meeting planners are looking for is not only is your content great, but is your delivery great? Is your setup great? Can you deliver an experience for my online audience? And that's a great opportunity for podcasters too, right?
yeah, absolutely. And I'll just talk about your background there for a moment. And this is not to nitpick it by any means, because I actually think your background is a good natural office environment background. I like that you've got a plaque on or some type of an award. I can't
That's
see
my
exactly what it is.
CAPS award.
See, there you go. See, so that to me is, as opposed to your laundry in the background and the cat walking across the screen or anything like that, that's going to deflect from the professional person you are. Because when you're showing up that way on camera,
Mm.
subconsciously, we're thinking, how are you going to show up at an event? And how you show up at an event and how you show up on camera should be the same. And people go, well, yeah, but, well, I'm sorry, good enough isn't good enough anymore, right?
Mm.
We're beyond
Yeah.
that point where, well, that's just good enough. And we know that because uh, we see, top-notch speakers who don't get the speaking gig because they're in that good enough headspace, and it might be good enough in certain environments or for certain events. But if there are specific events that you're targeting and specific podcasts that you want to be on, it better be a good reflection of you in business and not just, oh yeah, it's just my laundry. Yeah, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you wouldn't bring your laundry to a convention or to a conference and start folding it. So why would you think it's acceptable on the camera behind you, right?
No,
So think about
absolutely.
that. And I say that because, and Lauren, maybe you do, but there are a lot of people who still, after being through a tumultuous time, 2021, 2022, still go, oh, I'm just showing up as I am. And as I am doesn't fit every audience.
Well, it's very true. I mean, I look at your background. You've got your QR code in the back. Like it is a set.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you teach this, so I
Yeah.
expect you to have a set. Um, so
Yeah.
we've talked kind of about that evergreen piece, but let's back up one more thing because I
Sure.
am a huge follow-up person. So, what follow-up steps can a speaker take after a podcast to keep that relationship alive with the person that they've had the podcast interview with? Because we talked, referrals are really important. I don't
Yeah.
want to just be a one and done. I want to be referred. I want to be thought of. So, how can we suggestions on how we can just maintain that relationship?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And it's, again, this starts as soon as the interview is completed. Are you connected on socials? Connect on
Mm,
socials. It's such an easy thing to do. Send them a thank you email. Say, hey, it was a pleasure being on your show. I know people that send out cards as a thank
mm,
you, to say thank you for having me as a guest. Anything that'll keep you top of mind. And then, even in 2025, if you've got their coordinates, pick up the phone and say, hey, Lauren, I just wanted to reach out and say it's a blessing, being on your show last week or 2 months ago or whenever it was, or so glad to hear the episode has gone live. That is the power, I think, that you're talking about, is those little touch points as you go. And if you've got something that, I've started to do this, if you have events that you're holding, by way of example, invite the person whose show you have been on. Say, hey, I'm hosting a virtual, whatever it is. I'm hosting a webinar. I'm hosting a virtual summit. I'd love if you could come as my guest. Let them come for free. I mean, it's not a big deal.
mm.
Let them come
Yeah.
and see you in action again. Remind them of who you are and that it's important. Now, the other thing, as I said, is every now and again, make sure it's part of your CRM, and don't just have it automatically in your CRM, but do a follow up and say, hey, Lauren, I just wanted to check in. And especially if the interview hasn't gone live, it's good check in to say, hey, Lauren, I haven't seen the interview go live yet. I know you've been super busy with, just want to know when it's going live. I'm super excited to be able to share that our episode has gone live. And chances are you'll hear back from
Yeah.
the host, right? But
And
those little touch points of follow up are gold.
I think there's an etiquette involved in being a podcast guest.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a pre-show etiquette that involves inviting your followers
Yep.
to come and view the show, join the list, and I think that there's a post-show etiquette of highlighting that person and sharing that and just being being grateful and collaborative with the podcast owner to
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm going to help you grow because you helped me grow. And just being that let's work together to serve our audiences because chances are the audience that they're serving is similar to the audience that you're serving, or you wouldn't be on that show. So how can we best give our best selves to the people that we care enough about to market to, right?
Yeah. 100%. And again, I think it goes back to, especially when that episode goes live,
Mm,
like it, share it, repost it. Hopefully the host has sent you a copy of it, the link, and maybe even the artwork or the graphics, that you can do a separate post around it, and not just one, but maybe you have a series that you're going to set up. And because this is not just about the host, this is not just about I was on a podcast, yay me. No, you should be proud that you were on this show, and it's a tool that you're leveraging. So if you are doing that, and obviously it's supporting you, but it's going to be supporting the host as well. And you never know when that might get you an invitation to another show or to an event, or you might even be asked to come on that show again because you were such a good guest that they want you back to speak on something else or to check in, or who knows what the reason would be. But I've often invited guests back for a second time because not only has the interview gone well, our conversation gone well, so there's warrant for that, but oh my goodness, they've done such a great job at respecting me as the host and respecting the time that we spent together. Of course I want to invite them back. So it's about building that relationship and extending it in as many different ways as you can beyond the show, for sure.
Awesome. I know we're coming up to the end of our time, but I wanted to we've talked about being a guest.
Yeah.
What about hosting your own show? So some speakers consider starting their own podcast. So from your perspective, when does it make sense for a speaker to host their own show versus focusing on guesting? How do we know when's the time? Oh.
Right now, do it right now. All operators are standing by. But no, seriously, I ask yourself, what is it in your journey as a speaker that you're doing right now that is elevating your business or your position as a speaker? So, for example, have you written a book or two or three? And if you've written a book or two or three and you still don't have a podcast, guess what? You have content in that book. You have no doubt you have IP that you want to be putting out there, the things that you talk about all the time on stages. That's one of the times. Another time is when you've been guesting for a period of time on podcasts and you go, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the journey as a guest. And it's getting to the point where the calendar is getting a little bit, I don't want to say hard to manage, but it's really starting to fill up. Maybe that is also the time that you should say, you know what? If I'm this sought after as a guest, how much impact am I going to have as a host? There's no magic button or no magic time frame that says when you're year 5 or year 10 or this much experience in business. Well, people think that. People say, well, you have to be at least 10 years in business before you can have a podcast. You and I both know speakers who are barely 5-6 years in who are doing exceptionally well. By the way, some of them already have podcasts, but they're doing exceptionally well. Can you imagine waiting another 4 years just because there was a time frame to it? So are you ready to position yourself as the thought leader that just isn't getting on other people's platforms, but you're ready to now open your own platform? Think of it this way. Think of it as you're a speaker. You're speaking at numerous events. You're getting on other people's stages. Wouldn't it be cool at some point to host your own event? If you're thinking that, that's also the time to consider, oh my goodness, a podcast being a virtual stage, maybe I should be doing a podcast as well. And by the way, it's a great way to elevate your brand, your business, your credibility. It becomes part of your marketing tool. It already is if you're guesting, but it's another way to level up just a little bit more to put you in that place.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to close, but I have to say, you've got a QR code in this side. What's that QR code for, Carl?
It goes to, it actually goes to a resource page that gets you to my website, where if you want to have a follow-up conversation with me after today, grab some time. I always like to talk to people about podcasts and find out what their goals are. If you're a speaker, you want to find out more about this elusive podcasting world, there are a lot of people who still don't know what podcasting is, Lauren, believe it or not. So I always like to have conversations with that. I believe it leads to a couple of events I'm hosting as well, and some other resources too. So check it out. And then, yeah, I believe there's also a resource there that is my I call it my
Your
ebook,
10 your 10 simple steps.
but I've stopped calling it an ebook. I call it a learning companion because it really is that. If you're adding it to your things, your Rolodex of things to read, this is a great one, especially if you're looking at bringing a podcast out into the world and it needs some help getting started. It's a great place to start.
Perfect. Carl, I love that you've shown us how podcasting isn't just a single episode. It's about kind of creating this ripple effect where every appearance plants a seed with potential clients. When you can remarket and support it, those seeds can turn into real bookings. And here's the thing to remember, the podcast experience, as Carl just showed us, almost always leads people to one place first, and that's your website. So if that site isn't capturing attention and speaking directly to your audience's needs and making it easy to book you, because please, for the love of Pete, make it easy to book you, then all of that visibility that you've been working so hard to get just slips through your fingers.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why our Summer Learning website sale is so exciting. So right now, we're offering 15% off a brand new high converting website for speakers, but only for 5 speakers. I think we've got two, three, I think we've got 3 things left. I've got a couple calls after this is done, and only for the next 2 weeks. So this isn't just about creating a pretty design. It's creating the kind of site that turns interest into bookings automatically.
Mhm.
So if today's hot tips from Carl have made you ready to reach more stages, let's make sure your website is ready to seal the deal. You can grab all the details. The link is in the chat, and I'd be happy to talk about that. And so we've been talking about getting booked. And next week, we're diving into a strategy that complements your marketing perfectly. We're going to talk about cold outreach for established speakers, and that's with Cam Betterman. So we're going to cover exactly how to turn cold leads into booked gigs and how to follow up without being pushy and how to use your marketing and outreach to work hand in hand. So you won't want to miss that one either. Carl, as always, it's lovely to talk to you. You're one of my favorite people.
Thank you, Lauren. This has been so much fun. And if I can just give you a little plug and say, Lauren does some amazing work. I'm going to say, make sure you have a media page on your website when you book time with Lauren. But definitely take Lauren up on her offer for sure. And thanks for today, Lauren. It was great.
Thank you so much. Everybody, we hope to see you next week with Cam. Watch your inboxes for replays and have a magical, magical day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.